we're taught exists, while they're playing the hidden game that actually runs the world.
Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Today, we're taking some of the most pragmatic, unfiltered, and, let's be honest, slightly dark theories from political philosophy, psychology, and game theory, and we're translating the whole shebang into a highly actionable playbook for your daily life. Now, this isn't about becoming a villain or anything. It's really about upgrading your strategic intelligence so you can basically stop being manipulated, sidelined, or outmaneuvered in the real world.
All right, Section 1, the illusion of fairness, shattering the naive worldview. Before we can really build up your strategic leverage, we kind of have to do some demolition work on those comforting fairy tales we were all taught growing up. See, what's really interesting here is that most people operate on side A. They actually listen to what people say. But people rarely mean what they say. Words are super cheap. They're essentially just a performance used to manage your perception or, get out of trouble in the moment. You become dangerously smart the precise second you shift over to side B. You just completely ignore the cheap words and promises, and you strictly observe actions and behavioral patterns. Here's a super practical rule for your career. If your boss promises you a raise next quarter, but consistently heaps more work on you today without any extra pay, ignore the words. The pattern is the absolute truth. Act accordingly. And that brings us right to our next shattered illusion. We're all told that the world rewards pure hard work and just being a quote-unquote good person. Listen, the real world absolutely does not run on merit and fairness. It ruthlessly rewards leverage, visibility, and just being in the right place at the right time. So working 60 hours a week in total silence, that won't get you noticed. But spending 40 hours working and 5 hours actively networking with key decision makers, that absolutely will. The system rewards those who position themselves strategically, build the right relationships, and snatch up opportunities, rather than just quietly waiting for their merit to magically speak for itself. To take this a step further, we really have to look objectively at how rules actually function in society. The totally uncomfortable truth is that rules are systematically designed to constrain the powerless and keep them predictable. Meanwhile, those with resources, power, and connections, they regularly bend, bypass, or completely break those exact same rules with zero consequences. I mean, think about salary brackets. HR tells you the salary is firmly capped by a strict rule, right? Yet a strategic hire from the outside somehow easily negotiates right past that exact unbreakable cap. You've got to stop handicapping yourself with constraints that the people winning the game just happily ignore. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The core leverage equation, understanding the mechanics of power. Over 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli coined this concept called virtue. And just to be crystal clear here, he definitely did not mean moral goodness. In strategic terms, virtue is your drive, your extreme adaptability, your pragmatism, and just your sheer ruthless capability. It's literally a practical tool for survival and strategic agency. So it means acting generously when it builds loyalty, but being fully capable of acting ruthlessly when it protects you from a betrayal. Now, this brilliantly illustrates the core formula of our playbook. Virtue divided by fortuna equals leverage. Fortuna basically represents the absolute chaos of the world, luck, timing, the completely unpredictable actions of other people. And you know what? You cannot control fortuna. It's literally impossible. But you absolutely can build your internal capability, your virtue, to bend that chaotic reality into strategic leverage. For instance, you can't control a sudden round of corporate layoffs. That's fortuna. But building a hyper-adaptable skill set so you can immediately pivot, that is pure virtue. All right, Section 3, Playbook. Master your mask, internal strategy and control. Let's get into some highly actionable, practical life tips that you can honestly start using today. And we're starting with the absolute necessity of mastering your own internal emotional reactions. This right here is the Machiavellian 3-second rule. When a colleague passive-aggressively tries to throw you under the bus in a team meeting, do not snap back. Just pause for 3 seconds. Maintain neutral eye contact, breathe, you get to choose your response. When you remain totally composed while they're sitting there expecting a fight, you lower your own cognitive load and dramatically increase the emotional burden on your opponent. It actually forces them to nervously over-explain themselves, which just hands you free intelligence. So the crucial point is this. You must create information asymmetry. Stop oversharing. Say less. Explain less. Justify never. By embracing silence, you generate ambiguity. And ambiguity, it makes people deeply, deeply uncomfortable. Seriously, try this in your next negotiation. State your terms clearly, and then just shut up.
Do not fill the awkward silence. Let that uncomfortable ambiguity force the other person to second guess themselves and essentially start bidding against themselves. It's a real game changer.
Moving outward, Section 4, Playbook, Decoding Other People, Navigating the Social Battlefield. Machiavelli once noted, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few feel what you really are." Everyone you meet is actively managing their mask. Literally everyone is operating from a place of self-interest, quietly calculating what's in it for them. Once you accept this totally clinical truth, human behavior actually stops being confusing or personally hurtful, and it becomes almost entirely predictable. People aren't betraying you because they're necessarily evil, they're just simply choosing their own interests over yours. Because of this, you have got to be exceptionally selective with your trust. We all love to categorize people into these neat little boxes of true friends or enemies. But I'm telling you, the most dangerous category is the friendly enemy. Proximity is danger. The most effective betrayals don't come from obvious enemies, they come from people who smile at you, pretend to be completely on your side, learn all your weaknesses, and then strike exactly when it serves their self-interest. Want a practical tip to spot them? Watch out for the coworker who aggressively overshares gossip with you. They're usually trying to manufacture this false intimacy just to get you to reveal your own weaknesses. Remember, trust is never automatic. It has to be constantly verified. Which brings us to a somewhat harsh but incredibly necessary rule to understand. Weakness invites attack. Modern culture loves to tell us to broadcast our vulnerabilities to build connection, right? But objectively, in a highly competitive world, broadcasting your soft spots doesn't build connection. Actually, scratch that. It paints a giant neon target on your back for predators to exploit. In public, especially in competitive work environments, you absolutely must project strength. Now, this doesn't mean being a cold, emotionless robot. It just means maintaining strict professional boundaries. Save your deep emotional venting for your therapist or your spouse, definitely not your ambitious colleagues. On to our final phase, Section 5, Playbook, Playing to Win, Executing Your Advantage.
All right, here are some elite strategic rules you can deploy immediately. First up, control the agenda, also known as the Schelling point. Basically, whoever frames the options wins. So don't ask a client, when can we meet? Instead, offer 2 times where you win either way. Say, does Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 4 work better? Boom, you control the board. Second, weaponize scarcity. Stop answering every single email within 30 seconds. What is abundantly available is taken for granted. Give out small favors unexpectedly, for sure, but fiercely withhold your time. Third, frame everything as a loss. It's a proven fact that people will fight twice as hard to avoid losing something they already have than to gain something brand new. And fourth, remember that reputation is your currency. Make credible threats and follow through just once. If you prove you're fully willing to walk away, people will believe you forever without you ever having to do it again.